Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are back for another episode of Buckeye BS. I am here with my guy, Cleveland Mike and Shades Q. You know it's early as hell in Arizona when Q won't let you see his eyes. Fellas, I don't have to ask Q. I know how he's doing. Tired as fuck. Mike, how are you doing following this Buckeye victory? College football is back, and so are we.
I'm feeling great. I feel like a little kid, right after Christmas, man. I got my presents. They is all unwrapped. I got to play with them all yesterday, man. I'm feeling great. Football's back.
Q, I know football season just means watching the Buckeyes and then getting hammered following the rest of the day at noon until you fall asleep. How are you doing on this Saturday morning? There has been tons of college football played. I know you've probably watched maybe 5 quarters. How are you doing now that college football is back, being that it gives you an excuse to drink at 9 in the morning despite having work to do the next day?
No, first of all, it is Sunday morning. I don't know why you keep saying Saturday.
Whatever. You know what day it is.
Bro, you wanna know what happened yesterday? So it's
here we go.
Saturday's the only day I really get to sleep in, right? I checked all the score. I checked all the times for the game. I'm like, oh, the game's
Box
at
score,
12:30.
boys.
I'm like, the game's at 12:30. Game's at 12:30. Bro. So I woke up at like 8 o'clock to go make the game, realizing they didn't adjust the time for Pacific time. So I woke up at like 8, gaming starts till 12:30. I'm like, bro, this is one time I could have slept in. I was so mad.
Yeah, bro, you're fumbling the bag. You get one day. I mean, no, we got a busy day tomorrow. Still got a show, even though it's work. Happy holidays. Wake up early for the Buckeye Roast. But man, college football is back. We've been watching.
Tap in with y'all.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, exactly, Mike. If you want to pull up, bro, college football has been being played since Thursday. We know Q only watches on Saturday when the Buckeyes play, so we got to get right into it. Q, we'll start with you, being that me and Mike have been watching college football for a few days now.
Wow.
This is your first game that you've seen. Tell us where do you want to start with the Buckeyes game yesterday on Saturday, because today is Sunday. See, I know what day of the week it is.
Oh man, no, it was great for football was back, man. I had a great time. I gotta start with the defense, bro. The defense was as advertised yesterday. I mean, we waited for it. Talked about them being one of the best defenses. It felt like Ohio State got off to a little bit of a slow start all around, but man, about a few minutes in, the defense was like, all right, we're turning up. I seen Jack Sawyer look like J.J. Watt for a bit, just blowing past guys, hitting the QB. I'm like, oh, we got defensive ends rushing the passer.
Yeah.
Bro, the defense was outstanding yesterday, so I have to start there and give credit all around. I thought they were fantastic.
Oh, it's so interesting that you bring up credit for the defense.
Don't start with this.
Have you talked to your financial advisor lately? Q, let the people know about the crazy financial decision that you made this past offseason on the Buckeye Roast.
Bro, so of course, I sold all my Gabe Power stock. Sold it, let it go. Of course, Edric Houston comes in, being an absolute dog, gets a tip, and he gets a pick 6, which, give him credit, that was an athletic pick 6. I love what I saw. High point the ball, get to the end zone. Also, how incredibly lucky was he?
I'm going to be calling my real estate agent with all the money I'm about to have, with all of this equity in my Gabe Power stock that I never relinquished. Okay. Because when I saw the Ohio State Buckeyes recruiting a linebacker that was locking up receivers at rivals camps, I was like, I know this kid is special. And he showed you that elite athleticism when he jumped up and dunked on the running back to get a pick 6. I know there's a ton to talk about, but there's no better place to start than Gabe Power's pick 6. Our guy Chris Drew gave out a pregame prop bet on the Best Damn College pregame show yesterday, where he said, bet $25 on 2 Ohio State defensive touchdowns, and he cashed that bet for $700 yesterday. Bro, insane. I don't know where Chris comes up with this shit, But man, talk about a way to start the college football season, smacking a bet like that. And our guy, well, my guy, not yours, you're a hater. Gabe Powers comes through, dunking on niggas, and then scores the touchdown. So shout out to Gabe Powers, man. Mike, what did you like about yesterday?
Man, definitely love the defense. And also, what was not to love about watching Brandon Ennis, man? We've been talking about this for how many years, fellas? We've been wanting a dog back there at punt return, and we saw Brandon Ennis got that, man. And I had seen some Buckeye fans yesterday like, oh, why didn't he catch that at the 5? Why did he try to return that? Buckeye fans, would you rather have the ball on the 5-yard line or 15 plus? Because that's what he got us, right? So, I mean, because one penalty, you already backed up into your end zone. So, shout out to Brandon Ennis. He's definitely going to help us be able to flip the field, and I believe we're going to get a touchdown out of him later.
He guaranteed it in the offseason, and I think he's going to follow up on that promise. You talked about Brandon Ennis on punt. It seemed like an overall improvement all around on special teams. I said it yesterday. The Connor Stallion series, they do a sports series on sports scandals and documentaries, and I said the next big documentary they need to do is on the heist that Parker Fleming pulled off at Ohio State, stealing $500,000 for 3 years. The guy loses his job. They give parts of his job to other people that have bigger jobs, and somehow they managed to improve the special teams. It is one of the most historic heists in the history of sports. This man was stealing money in everyone's face. They used to post about it on the website. Like, they had this man's face on the website. It's like when SpongeBob's holding up the maniac sign. Like, he's right here stealing the money in front of everyone. You see the special teams look the best that they've ever looked in the Ryan Day era. Your guys' thoughts on special teams yesterday?
Yeah, you go, Mike.
Oh, man. Ryan Day, like he said, I saw, one of my special teamers not having a good week. What I do? Play the other special teamer that was having a good week, right? So, I mean, that right there to me was a massive improvement. We didn't put the punter who was just going to shake the punts and all of that stuff. We didn't do that. We put the guys out there who are going to be able to make plays, man. Shout out to the special teams guys. Shout out to Brian Hardline. Also, shout out to Keenan Bailey, man, because, I mean, we only really got to see one kick return. But, I mean, JB looked pretty good out there, man. I think that he also going to be able to flip the field for us a couple times, too.
You brought up Keenan Bailey. I'm not sure I'm ready to give bro flowers. 0 catches from the tight ends yesterday. A drop by Wilkins Merrick in the red zone yesterday. Were you guys surprised? We talked about Ryan Day. It felt like sometimes we needed to tap him on the shoulder and point hey, Marv's over there, because we'd get into the red zone and they'd start scheming up Cade Stover like he was the generational wide receiver. So were you surprised to see such a complete shift? I mean, obviously we have a different play caller, but it was reiterated over and over and over again. This is still Ryan Day's offense. I definitely thought that the tight ends would be more involved. Were you shocked by the performance from the tight ends yesterday? I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad performance, but I was definitely surprised, me personally, that we didn't see any catches out of the room.
No, I was not shocked at all, to be honest with you. We haven't heard the most positive things from the tight ends. We heard that they're getting better. My whole thing was this: if I was going to see you throw to the tight ends, I'd rather it been me seeing you throw it to the more athletic ones, either a G or a Jelani. I know, it wasn't the best of throws, but I think a more athletic tight end might have got that, right? Or maybe had a better chance. So I think that's the coach's philosophy, wanting to get cased over 2.0 the ball. I think we need to change that philosophy and get the most athletic guys the ball, especially just the way our offense is this year. Definitely need to be more athletic at that position.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Mike. I'm not terribly shocked. I also love the rotation of seeing actually Jelani Thurman in the game early. I was like, oh, okay, so he is going to play all three. And I thought the rotation We can get into it later. Yesterday was fantastic, to be honest. But no, I'd much rather Jeremiah Smith get 9 targets than see 5 targets to the tight ends and Jeremiah Smith only get like 4. So I'm not mad at it. I didn't think they played bad either. I'm actually kind of surprised he actually didn't record a catch, but it is what it is. But also too, we were pretty efficient. We got down the red zone, so didn't need to really look to the tight ends. We got it done, so I'm happy with it.
I mean, we're officially here. I tweeted before the game. It is officially the SFE era at Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith burst onto the scene yesterday with 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. Your guys' thoughts on Jeremiah Smith? Did he live up to expectations in game 1?
Yeah, he definitely lived up to expectations. And here's the thing. I seen some people wanted to be hard about him or hard on him because of the first 2 plays, getting a penalty and dropping a pass. Freshman mistakes, guys. We've been telling you guys this. If you've been listening to us, this is what happens. But shout out to the coaching staff saying, hey, he made a couple mistakes. Let him work through it. And what did he do? Come out and be a dog. Showed him. We heard about all of the crazy catches that he was making in practice, and we got to see him because the announcers just kept saying over and over, oh my God, did he just catch that with one hand? He just caught that with one hand. And guys draped all over him. We kind of saw that like last year and the last couple of years with Marv, right? Guys just draped all over him, but he was still able to have a body control, still able to have strong hands, catch the ball. And we saw that from Jeremiah several times, with him catching the ball. So he definitely lived up to the hype. All over every network, ESPN, CBS, Big Ten, they're all talking about the freshman phenom is what they're calling.
Yeah, I agree there. I think the best thing about Jeremiah Smith yesterday was it seemed routine for him to just make consistent catches, especially after he had the first drop, comes in, is consistent, definitely is making play, like making real. It's not like, oh, let's just scheme it up, just get Jeremiah Smith the ball because we got to build him his confidence. It's a lot of routine wide receiver plays. See the big playability. Obviously, the one-handed catch was fantastic, but I thought his route running was really good. I thought his catches were really good. He had a couple going towards the sideline. I'm like, okay, like this dude is for real. So he definitely lived up to the hype. I know everybody will be talking about, Ryan Williams with the 2 explosive plays against Chattanooga, but I thought Jeremiah Smith, it wasn't just a deep wall where he beat a guy or got lucky and uses athleticism. It was very routine plays, which later down the season, those are the ones he's going to have to make. So I thought he was fantastic yesterday.
Yeah, man, you talked about the catches towards the sidelines. How impressed were you with some of those throws by Bill Howard yesterday? Like, I was uber impressed with what I saw from Will yesterday. I definitely had question marks going into it. Everybody's like, what do you think is going to happen in Oregon game? I'm like, I haven't seen my quarterback play in the shoe yet. Like, I can't come out here and lie to you until I see him play. I'm ready to lie. Bill looked like that guy out there, man. The throws that he made on the run, I passed out last night at like 12:30 trying to rewatch the game with my guys, nice. Terry and White Cam. I was in the space. I was literally laying on my couch dozing off, listening to like them break down the film. I go to leave the Discord. I'm like, Mike, I didn't even know you were in here. I was like, I'll talk to you in the morning. And I went to bed. But in the rewatch, I counted 4 what I would have called guaranteed sacks by Kyle McCord last year that Will Howard was able to avoid and either make a play or throw it away. No intentional grounding is probably my favorite stat from Will Howard yesterday. Your guys' thoughts on Bill's play?
Yeah, you look at the stat sheet, which I know a lot of people are looking like
box score boys, Q, stand up.
Yeah, looking at 7 and 28 and like, oh my gosh, that was terrible. But then they're not accounting for, a good throwaway ball that he had, not accounting for several drops that I felt like could have been caught as well. And then again, even our guy Cam, with Best Damn Media, he said the game would have been completely different if JJ catches that ball, right? Because it was nothing but green grass. So shout out to Will. He made some throws better than what I thought, especially pushing the ball downfield. I was worried that we weren't going to do that, but I saw that out of him. And he just put it up there, allowed the playmakers to go make plays. And that's what you can't ask for that. And then also, like you was talking about, Ryan, the sacks. We saw a guy swing, like having a swing around, like Will was swinging him around and everything, swung him right off. Also, Will running for first down. How many times did we say, man, we could have won the game if we could have kept the chains moving, if the quarterback just ran for the first down? We got to see that out of Will Howard. Also, what did we not see one time last year? Scramble drill. Got to see that too. So, I mean, knowing that the play is going to be kept alive, the wide receivers also know that as well, and you see them moving around, I'm excited, man. I hope that they build more chemistry and build on this going into next week.
I mean, yeah, the same as Mike said. I thought he was great in the pocket, getting around, moving. I think the wide receivers may have let him down a little bit early, dropping some passes. But I felt like, as we talked about, Will Howard is really good in the intermediate game. Like that's where his bread and butter is. I don't expect to get a crazy deep ball like every play, but if you make the intermediate passes, especially with zone 6, guys like Cardinal Tate will catch it, take a step, juke a guy, and roll to the end zone. So I definitely thought he played very well yesterday. I thought he adjusted, and as soon as really Ohio State settled in, I thought the team was pretty flawless going into then. So I'm expecting Will Howard to really grow in these few games and get there and be good as far as going into Oregon. And a little more deep ball. I could use a couple more explosive plays in the past. I could use a little more Brandon Ennis. Like, let's make a little emphasis to get him the ball. But I thought Will Howard was great.
How much of the pregame, like the early game struggles, the sloppiness on offense, the jitters, how much do you think that's just a part of week 1 jitters, or do you think that's a part of a pattern that we've seen from Ryan Day? A pattern that we've seen from Ryan Day in the past 2 years, I'd say.
See, I get on Ryan Day, but it felt like it was across college football. Like everybody had game 1, like moving slow. Usually, some big time team will come out and thrash people, and it's like, well, why can't we start like that? But no one started like that yesterday. So I'm gonna call it a college football anomaly. It was something.
Alabama and Ole Miss came out firing, but other than them, Chris called me and said, "Hey, are you watching this Ole Miss game? They're running your 4 verticals offense that you run it on College Football 25." He said they're just running 4 verticals every play, and it's working.
Jackson Dart was crazy. I see why he got a private jet. He was crazy.
look at Q pretending like he watched the game.
He said them highlights was lit though, man. Them highlights was lit.
I honestly don't believe he's seen a highlight. He just heard he had a lot of touchdowns.
And I mean, here's the thing, man. Like Ole Miss, they're returning a lot on their, offensive coaching staff and stuff. Kellen DeBoer, I would say majority of the coaching staff, he kind of brought with him, got key guys in there. Plus, it's his offense. He knows what he's doing, right? And, I mean, with us, first-time jitters, also just some undiscipline, man. I mean, Ryan, we talked about this in the halftime space, just undisciplined. And then on the offensive line, it just looked like guys were just not getting pushed back like I saw from another team we could talk about later. I seen their O-line actually get pushed back. That wasn't the issue. It was just guys missing assignments. But, boom, you had 2 first-time starters out there in Oster Centerville and Tegra as well. They got to get chemistry, got to gel. And then everybody wants this offensive line to hit on cylinders, but they got no chemistry because they got sick during fall camp. So just think about this, fellas. Calm down. You'll be fine.
Yeah, Mike, we talked about this a lot last year. There was a lot made about the offensive line, and one, I feel like they took a lot of heat for Kyle sacks, and they also never did we see them. That was like one of the more frustrating things about watching last year's team when you would rewatch the film. I have yet to see Josh Simmons get whooped on film. It's always they're blocking the wrong person or don't know their assignment. You'll catch Josh Simmons jump off sides, standing in space with no hands on anybody. But I've not seen Ohio State's offensive line been out physicaled in 14 games. So to see the same mistakes that we saw early in last year that we've seen them show an ability to correct as far as just not necessarily having the right assignments and not having your most experienced guard on the field plays a factor into that. Still to go through a game, I know it's Akron, but to go through 4 quarters of play with 0 sacks, 2 first-time starters, one of them a guy that's not expected to play a ton this year. One, I think that's good to see that, hey, it may not have been the prettiest game, but Austin Sareveld was able to fill in for our best offensive guard, and we were able to keep our quarterbacks upright. Overall, my takeaways from this offensive line is they're still physical like they were last year. We've seen Justin Fry be able to correct these mental lapses. Watch week 1 of Ohio State last year, and then go watch the Notre Dame game and watch the difference in offensive line play in just 4 weeks. So I'd have 0 concerns as far as them getting things straight. If the Donovan Jackson thing turns into a long-term issue, maybe, but I don't see that happening. Well, if we get there, we get there. But as of right now, honestly, despite how messy it was, 0 sacks and having 2 first-time starters make it through the game, can't really complain. I think a lot of the things we saw yesterday with them struggle with were very correctable.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree there. I think it's correctable. I thought it was a slow start for everybody. That includes the offensive line. I mean, I thought at points, guys got beat, missed assignments. But, I mean, it's week 1. Like you said, they haven't had a lot of time to play together. They have rotating guards, which well, the first times I've heard of that going into a game. We're rotating guards.
It worked. It worked. Took Tegra out. Carson came in and didn't do much better. And then he started playing better towards the end of the game when he came back in. So,
yeah, that's the first time I've heard of that one. But
careful what you wish for. Everybody's been screaming rotating, right?
Yeah.
That's why I said, hold my beer.
Yeah,
I can't get 6 receivers, but I can get 7 linemen. So, however, I didn't think the offensive line was bad at all. I think they do need some work. I think they need the gel, but it's been a godsend that the first few games of the season should not be a challenge. So, definitely having people out sick all over the place for the offensive line. We'll get them. We'll get them in there and get them right. So I'm not too worried about it right now.
I see someone in the chat say Iggy has to stay off them energy drinks. I disagree. Do they have anything stronger?
I love it. Yeah, I
love that energy.
I love it, bro.
Chris said on the post-game show, he was like, pre-game jitters for offensive players look like drops. Pre-game jitters for defensive players look like I haven't had a chance to hit a quarterback in months, and I'm going to go out there and kill someone.
I'm hitting you regardless.
Hey, man, I hope everybody made sure that they said they prayers for that quarterback before they went to bed, because Lord, that was malpractice, bro, having that man out there that long. And Jack Sawyer would not let up. Jack Sawyer nightmares.
They kept hitting that, man. I felt bad for Ben Finley. A truly tough performance, a gutsy performance by that kid. That was a cool game plan that Joe Moorhead schemed up as far as the 2 quarterbacks in the backfield. And, I mean, you got to tip your hat to those guys because, I mean, they fought till the end. And OSU, it was like one of those memes where the guy's already taken 100 punches and he's still trying to fight. And it's like, I mean, Joe Moorhead Joe Moorhead has a team that doesn't quit because those guys played till the final whistle, and the Buckeyes were taking no mercy on them. So shouts out to Ben Finley, a truly tough performance by him yesterday, left everything out there on the field. Let's get right into the defense, man. They were smacking shit out there. There's pretty much no other way to say it, man. Like, one of Cam's best lines on this show, pads ain't been popping since the 99s and the 2000s in Columbus. Well, they're popping again, and it looks different, man. Even everybody expected this defense to take a step forward from last year, despite how good they were, and I felt like we saw it. Despite it being maybe a little less experienced, a couple new pieces, it felt like they were moving at a different speed. What stood out to you guys about the defensive performance yesterday?
That we have actual athletic linebackers. Guess what, guys? We don't just have one. That's the beautiful thing. And I gotta
Gabe
say,
Howard's really setting the standard with elite athleticism out there.
I mean, to be honest, you got to give it credit to him, because how many other football players would have probably not caught that ball and would have dropped it? So, I mean,
it's a crazy transition, because we saw linebackers getting dunked on against Notre Dame last year, and now our linebackers are doing the dunking this year.
Yeah.
Man.
So, I mean, and then I also got to give a shout out to my guy Q. I did not take his financial advice when he said about all the stock in Arvell Reese. I didn't think our coaching staff was going to play him. I knew he was a dog, but I just didn't have no faith in the coaching staff. Man, dude was out there all over the place. Probably the fastest linebacker on the squad. I'm sorry. Dude was triggering quick, just making plays. And like you said, you could actually hear the pass when he hit somebody. My Cleveland boys, I've been telling y'all, they different. Shout out to the east side of Cleveland, man.
Most definitely that Arvell restock. As much I'll give Gabe Powers his credit, but that Arvell restock was paying off. I thought the linebackers as a unit played well yesterday. I think CJ Hicks, sideline to sideline, I thought he was good going through the traffic. I think he needs work, but that's also reps. I mean, it's really his first time playing along with everyone else. So, but I thought Arvell Reese. And I thought Sonny Styles, obviously, he's the leader in the clubhouse, man. That dude's fantastic. He looked the part. He looked ready to go. Arvell Reese was probably the second best yesterday. Well, he was the second best yesterday. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he played really well. I think CJ Hicks, I'd probably give him a C for the game. I think he needs to get through traffic better. But I did see the athleticism. I think he needs to play a little bit better. But it's good to see him actually get reps. So overall, I thought the unit played really well.
See, the CJ Hicks thing, I'm almost ready to lay down my sword. I don't think he is a 4-2 will linebacker. When he moves, when you see him shoot the gap on that blitz where he gets the sack, and he has that downhill straight line speed when he's going at the quarterback, completely blows up a running back in the backfield to get to the quarterback. But then when you see him moving sideline to sidelines, it doesn't look like he's moving at that same speed. It feels like CJ Hicks is 10 pounds away from Larry Johnson's room. Bro seems like it sounds like Edge is his future, and it doesn't seem like he's playing the right position. And when all of the people that have, you guys don't know what you're talking about, I got blocked by the linebackers coach over it, laying my sword down. I was wrong about CJ Hicks. Q, are you ready to admit you're wrong, or are you holding out hope? Are you keeping your stock in CJ Hicks, low linebacker?
No, I thought he had some bad plays yesterday. I mean, I'm not to say he was great all day, but I didn't think he was bad or terrible. I thought sometimes, especially.
No, I don't think he was bad or terrible. I think he was out of position. I think CJ Hicks is a good football player. I don't think we have a spot for him in this scheme, at least in a starting role. If he wants to keep this going, awesome. We missed Cody Simon yesterday.
Well, we got to see how Cody Simon is. I thought he played well at the end of last season, so I'll give him his clean slate going to here, especially when we play some competition. But no, I think there's definitely a role for CJ Hicks. I thought he was great, taking on blocks, getting past them, getting sideline to sideline. I remember the pass play, and I was like, damn, he has two blockers in front of him and still makes a play at the line of scrimmage. So I didn't think he was bad at all.
Q, you know, we have a shout out to our only sponsor on the Buckeye Roast, SFE, but we have one sponsor on Buckeye BS as well, and it's the sponsor Germaine Matthews segment. He gets out there and makes the most of his playing time every time he gets on the field. A guy that would start at damn near any school in the country and is out here playing a role behind Denzel Burke and Davison Igbinosun. And then when he gets on the field, bro, he plays like he knows he's one of the best corners in the country. Absolutely smacking shit. Still, like the fact that he gets on the field and plays with that energy that late in the game, from the time that he was a freshman till now, you saw him getting pick sixes, pass breakups as freshmen in late games. You see him coming in, smacking shit late in games for the Buckeyes. Just the sponsor Germaine Matthews love on this show, because every time that guy gets on the field, he shows why that is one of the greatest recruiting steals last minute that I can remember in Buckeye history, because the fact that he was 25 days away from going to Cincinnati, and he camped at Ohio State and landed here. And we have a guy like that coming in late in games. And if, God forbid, anything were to happen to one of our corners, knowing that that's who's coming in, I felt like Ohio State's depth showed itself all day yesterday, because even on the rewatch, something that I didn't catch, Brandon Inniss was in the game a lot in the second quarter. I saw Jelani Thurman in the game a lot in the second quarter. Guys that we were crossing our fingers that we saw by the third and fourth quarter getting meaningful reps early. I'm not, my suit's in the cleaner, so I'm not ready to play taps and retire the phrase Lion Day, but Ryan Day really seems to be committed to the things that he is saying when it comes to developing depth on his team. And it was probably one of the best rotations that I've seen across the board from the Buckeyes, especially in a blowout victory. Despite them coming out with a shaky start, they were still getting guys in early and often. So I absolutely loved what I saw out of the rotation. Your guys' thoughts there?
Yeah, I think I finally got Ryan Day to rotate by making J Book ask him that question on stage. I finally got to him, so you are all welcome.
Hashtag bullying works.
There you go. I wish I could have been a speaker. Like, you sure about that, Ryan?
For real.
But no, I thought the rotation was great yesterday. You talk about Germaine Matthews. We know how good Germaine Matthews is. I said it before. I was like, Ryan, we're at the point where we gotta stop talking about Germaine Matthews as a backup corner. And
he's not a backup.
That's what I'm saying. He just needs to play the same amount of reps as every other starter.
He's a starter with less reps.
he played starter ball, and he was good to see him in there early. I mean, I thought he was fantastic, but overall, the rotation, linebacker, it was great. We got to see everybody. We got to see guys get chances. Defensive line, got to see guys in there early. I'm like, Hero Canoe making a play in here, and it is not 1 minute left in the fourth. Are we cooking now? So
Hero Canoe with a forced fumble week 1. JTT with 2 sacks. Man. Put the Larry statue up.
For real, man.
I was saying, Lathan Ransom probably walked up like, who's 93? I've never seen him before. They never play remotely at the same time. But
did you see another number that you were surprised to see out there, but was also the least surprising person to be on the field? Who was shocked when they saw number 17 on the defense?
I knew you were going. I was like,
I seen 17, and I said to myself, who is that? And then I was like, I don't have to ask, because I know who the fuck my defensive coordinator is, and I know who his favorite player on the team is. That's Mitchell fucking Melton out there.
Finally, we see the Jack.
And he played good, too.
Exactly. He played great. I wasn't used to seeing that type of play out of 17 on defense.
Yeah, he talked in one of his interviews, he was just talking about like last year coming off of the injury and stuff, and the reason why they had to keep him at the reps, he wasn't confident in himself. But now he's confident in himself. He's out there playing, and like you guys said, we've been talking about rotation and these young guys needing snaps. This is what we've been talking about. Now, if they continue this, when we do have injuries on the back half, knock on wood, hope we don't have any, but when that challenge comes around, those guys can feel confident about their play, because that's what, if you play any video game, right, they got awareness and they got confidence, right? You need your confidence meter up, bro, because as you saw, even the offensive guys, like we talked earlier, soon as JJ got his confidence, calmed down, balling out. Same thing with everybody else, bro. Same thing. Quinshawn Judkins was a little jittery in the beginning. Calm down and everything. Got his confidence about himself. Boom. But when you pull them guys out, you hurt their confidence. You don't let them get back out there to fix the mistakes and say, hey, coach, I'm locked in. I'm paying attention. So I loved it. I think that they keep this philosophy up, man. This is going to be a special team for actually not just a special team this year, what a special program for years to come.
This is the first time we had a comment on the YouTube the other day where they asked, who is going to be that guy that everyone's yelling at the TV? Why is he in the game? We went almost 3 deep on that defense, and I didn't see a candidate for that award. Like, the depth on that defense is absolutely ridiculous. And to see them using that rotation is beautiful. And hopefully the Buckeyes have a 15-game season and are able to go win a natty because they're able to stay healthy. A guy to be when you talk about defensive ends, a guy like Mitchell Melton gets forgotten, but before he tore his ACL, he was going to play over Jack Sawyer when we actually did see the Jack on the field at Ohio State. A guy that Jim Knowles has raved and raved and raved about. And to see him get healthy and see snaps, to be able to rotate Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry, JTT, Jack Sawyer, to have just those waves. Larry Johnson brought the damn Rushman package back. Like, it is glorious days in Columbus. Yes, are there things to clean up? There was plenty of things that we saw as much as we were able to get to on the film rewatch last night. Plenty of things that can be cleaned up, but a lot of them are very fixable things. I was so excited with the rotation that we saw and the depth, because not just through this season, man, we're going to lose a lot of people because of how many guys came back, how many people are going to be going to the pros, and we're showing this roster is more than capable of stepping up when it is their turn.
No, you hit the nail on the head. Like, the rotation was beautiful. The defense had guys all over coming in and out. Like, you make a mistake, it's fine. You can actually have time to learn from it. Oh,
good.
I thought you were about to say something. That's why I paused.
No, that's why I paused.
No, it was fantastic and good to see guys get their sea legs. And like you said, no, there was no Cato on the defense of like, dang, why are you even here? Seeing Mitchell Melton, Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry, man. Look, when we get into a big-time game, keep those guys rolling, because I seen some spin moves. I see some athletic pass rushes. Jack Sawyer obviously stole the show because he's got the quarterback's number stuck on his jersey somewhere. But those guys were honestly fantastic. So I love the rotation. I love to see it. Keep it moving. Give me more Germaine Matthews, and I have no complaints.
How disrespectful it is. Like, yo, we're trying not to beat your ass. We got Kenyatta in the game. Oh, thanks. Like,
I don't think that
any sort of relief. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not. Those aren't backups that they're putting in. It's like, oh, Ohio State has their second string in. That would be a sixth-place team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, the 6'6", 260 athletic defensive tackle coming in. He's a backup.
And to be honest, you know what I like? Because what I said, I didn't want this coaching staff to stop being aggressive in the games, like when the backups get in, bro. Like, Devin Brown didn't hit it, but we saw them let him take a shot. That's what I want. I love the aggressiveness coming from this coaching staff. I don't care if we up. I don't care if it's embarrassing for your program. We got guys to play and get ready. This is a long season for us. So that got to be our mentality. I am really loving this because it's crazy, guys, that all the things that we have complained about and that we have talked about for years is coming true. It's like almost unbelievable, right?
It's like we should have listened to all the people that said, hey, people tried to run Kirby out of town too on the same timeline that Ryan Day is on. Let him grow and be the coach. And we always like to say we don't want to see coaches cut their teeth at Ohio State. We want experienced coaches. We want the best. Go hire me a name. Go drop a bag on someone. But, at the end of the day, Ryan Day doesn't have a coaching tree. Ryan Day doesn't have coaches to just reach to. He's had to make mistakes. He's learning on the job. And if he gets it done this year, what is left to say about Ryan Day? Ohio State just got rated the number one NIL program. The losses to Michigan will be forgotten if he goes out here and gets a national championship. Michigan is out there struggling against Fresno State yesterday, looking like dog shit. They have value time, J.J. McCarthy out there, and Davis Warren playing quarterback. They're about to go be banished to the fucking shadow realm. And the biggest fraud in the sport, Dan Lanning, showed you exactly what I've been trying to tell you in the offseason, that this guy has not proven shit. He just makes cool TikToks. Like, this is Ryan Day's opportunity to grab this conference by the throat and say, this is ours. Like, it's now or never. And if he does, I don't think anyone could say shit to him, because yesterday on the pregame show, the name Lincoln Riley got brought up. And when we all first met, one of the things that people always used to say to Ohio State fans is, Lincoln Riley's a better coach. They don't even mention that guy's name with Ryan Day anymore. Yesterday, Chris asked me who's a better coach, Brian Kelly or Lincoln Riley. You would never hear someone ask you who's a better coach, Brian Kelly or Ryan Day. Anyone with half a brain in college football is taking Ryan Day. If he doesn't seize this opportunity, it would be a complete failure. But he's showing that he's all chips on the table right now when it comes to this team. They went all in on the transfer portal. He fired coaches. He went and got his guy. He went and got another guy at quarterback. Ryan Day is all in, and he's not lying to us anymore. It seems like Ryan Day has a different level of comfort. Moment of honesty in the press conference when he said last year, this time, I thought Devin Brown would be the quarterback. He's telling us he's going to rotate guys. We're seeing Jelani Thurman, a guy that he's telling he needs consistency. Would we say that word consistency is the kiss of death for Ryan Day? It's like being called the jack on defense. It means you're not playing. And we saw Jelani Thurman out there given the opportunity to show with a chance, maybe he can do it. And to see that Ryan Day is really exploring the depth of his roster and really pushed all the chips to the center of the table for this year, you have to applaud him because he's done everything that this fan base has asked him to do as far as leveling up this program and leveling up as a coach. And while he did start here, and this is his first time coaching as a head coach, he's learning on the job. And every time Ryan Day has made a mistake, he's made efforts to correct it. And you're seeing it again in this season and showing why if I got my way after the first Michigan or the second Michigan loss and they fired his ass, it would have been the wrong decision because he's a young up-and-coming coach and he's learning on the job at one of the hardest not one of the hardest programs to coach at, but one of the highest expectation programs in the country. And I think he's going to get them over the finish line this year.
Yeah, man. And it just looks like how we were talking about the players getting confidence and being better, right? Ryan Day just looks like he has, and he talked about it all season. Every time he sat down with someone during the interview, he was always talked about putting the right staff together. And I can tell you this, it looked like he had confidence. I didn't see him over there yelling at the running backs coach, because you know why? The running backs ain't look like they was out there playing like soft batch cookies, man. Shout out Coach Locke, man.
Did you see Coach Locke screaming? No, you can't fumble the ball. I'm no great lip reader, but that's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
He recovered the fumble, and he's screaming at him. It's the fourth quarter, and he recovered his own fumble, and Locke is still in his ear. We don't fumble the ball here.
Because Ryan Day ain't got it. We saw Ryan Day was doing that with the running backs last year. He ain't got to worry about it because goddamn Coach Locke gonna make sure ain't no soft batch cookies. And I got to say this, while there's 270 of y'all in here right now watching, bruh. Travion Henderson. most improved Buckeye on the team. That man was running physical. They was throwing the little arms out there, hitting him at his feet, and he wasn't falling down. Most improved Buckeye. Shout out to Travion Henderson. Honestly, when I was watching that Oregon game, because you brought up some other Big Ten teams, I said, Lord, if when we play them, that might be the Travion Henderson day playing against Oregon. Travion and Emeka will probably go off in that game. And then also, speaking of those teams, Penn State might be, top 2 team. I thought that it was going to be Oregon. No, it might be Penn State. Penn State might be top 2. You got Ohio State, Penn State right up there.
Yeah, did you see that block by Trey yesterday?
Oh my
God. That's how I realized that Jelani Thurman was in the great game in the second quarter because Jelani thought he was going to block him. Trey completely pancakes them, and then Jelani just standing over top of him, confused, like, what the
He was trying to help dude up. Yeah, he was shocked too. He was like, what the? Are you okay?
Nah, man, Trey, the running backs in total were fantastic. I looked at the box score and I'm like, that doesn't look crazy. But actually watching the game, they played extremely well. They were fantastic. I thought Trey was outstanding. I love seeing him get the ball in space. Finally, get the ball in space. And I thought when the line opened up plays, the running backs looked fantastic all the way down to James Peoples. Sam Williams-Dixon got one carry, but I thought the running backs looked great. So shout out to Coach Locke. And that is the last person I want to see yelling at me. Dude, bro, I'm like, bro, that's the last person on earth I want to piss off, bro.
Absolutely. We don't want any problems with Coach Locke. But you talked about Ryan Day's confidence this season. We've talked a lot about the body language on Ohio State sidelines and taking on the identity of Ryan Day when games get tight. And you saw when Ryan Day was hype on the sidelines, the team took on that identity against Georgia. CJ took that on. The team took that on. You saw the energy. But when you see Ryan Day face down in the play sheet, sulking, CJ would have those games where he was hanging his head. Kyle, the king of RBF, like it just wasn't, we didn't have that energy. Man, Will Howard on the sidelines before the game. Everybody's talking, oh, we should have got Cam Ward, this, that, whatever. Bro, we got baby Ben Roethlisberger as our quarterback. And, bro, you could see how calm and cool that Will was pregame. Will, you could see in his eyes thinking about where he was going after the game and who he was partying with because he knew he had that game locked up. You saw the veteran presence in his face, just smiling on the sideline, and it was contagious. You could see people walking past Will and them loosening up because they didn't see their quarterback worried because Will's lost his job. He's had turnover mistakes at Kansas State as a freshman. He's been named a starter. He's came back in to start. He's won a conference championship. He's ran the gauntlet as a starting quarterback in college football. And you could see that by how cool and calm he was on the sidelines. And I feel like that's something that's going to carry through the season, having that level of veteran leadership on the sideline that can't be discounted. Even if they went with another quarterback, that's something that would not have been there because it would have been a first-time starter working through their first time playing in a game. He brought a veteran presence that I feel like can't be quantified when you're just watching the film. Like what he showed on the sidelines and that cool calmness, I thought that was very impressive from a guy playing his first game in the shoe with the expectations that this team has.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Will is like his fifth year in college football, and that's what you get from experience. That's what you get from a guy who's played a lot of ball. So I'm so happy Ryan Day is now rotating and playing guys because that's what you'll get later in the time. Will's out there like, bro, I've had terrible drives and he'll play through them. I've had great drives to play through them. So the fact that we didn't score on the first couple possessions and didn't, light it up in the first 2 minutes, like it's cool. We'll get it. So definitely it was cool, collected. I was hyped from this team's energy, and we talked about it, Ron, on the Buckeye Roast, just the culture change in the energy, from the walkout to the energy on the sideline. I thought the team energy was fantastic. Our guys looked cool. They weren't worried. They were ready to play ball. When they got in the game, they brought their energy. There's a lot of shit talking. I love Germaine Matthews running down the quarterback on the sideline, just smacked the ball out of his hands. I was like, that's so petty. But I love the energy. I thought Will's leadership was fantastic. And like you said, you're not going to get it from any other guys because no guys have played. Those guys have had the opportunity to work through their mistakes. And Will Howard, even when he didn't have a great throw, he's like, you know what? Next play, I got you. So, and he was great down the stretch. So I'm right with you.
We got 100 people in here watching live on YouTube. Make sure you smash that like button. Another 200 on Twitter. If you're watching on Twitter, like the video, retweet. We appreciate everyone tuning in. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you also do that. We are live 7 days a week on this channel. We have the Buckeye Roast weekdays, Monday through Friday with me and Q at 8 a.m. We have the Fans Edge Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern.
7:30.
7:30 Eastern on Wednesdays with Mike, Cam, and Terry. And then we have the college pregame show on Menace, Bleacher Report, all of that good stuff. You can find us everywhere. And then Mike is on the Voice of College Football with Mark Rogers on Saturdays on the Ohio State channel. So make sure you check him out there for your post-game needs as well. Q, you talked about the overall team leadership. I want to bring everybody's attention to a video. I'm giving everyone homework for after the show. You go find the video that the Ohio State media team posted and from the locker room where they say the best thing about being 1-0, chance to go 2-0. And then they do the song. And then at the end, JTT walks into frame and gives you a Tiger Woods fist bump and a woo from a guy that looks like he is on a fucking mission. These guys from the 21 class that decided to come back seem that like they have one goal, and that's to beat the team, well, multiple goals, beat the team up north and win this national championship. And they look focused. And to see that leadership and energy, we've talked for years that there's no energy, there's no one to look to. Who is that person that's getting them hype? And JT has stepped up into that role from a young guy, but being the veteran that has been there, has suffered the losses, to have that guy leading again for a fourth year is going to be great to see for this team. And JT getting out there with two sacks early in the season to pad those stats and run them up this year for a guy that has been criticized a ton for not having the sack numbers despite doing exactly what he's been asked to do in Jim Knowles' scheme. It was great to see him also put his effort on the stat sheet as well.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Jack Sawyer was flying around, but JTT was well. I mean, you like you said, you get the leadership when you have guys who played a lot of ball over and over again. So again, let these guys cook, let them make mistakes. Like Mike has said, rotation. Guys won't make mistakes late. They'll make mistakes early in the season, and they'll pay them. And later in the season, they're going to look increasingly well. So I'm happy with it. I love the leadership. I love the vibe over this team. I don't know, like Ron said, I don't know if Ryan Day changed on the offseason or he lucked into it, but whatever he did, keep it trending, because the overall vibe in this team is amazing, and it makes you feel extremely confident going down the stretch when we get into Big Ten play, that these guys, even if, things aren't going their way, they'll turn it around, which in other years we've been like, oh, shit, you can see the momentum around this team. I don't know if they've got it. So, yeah, I'm super excited. I love the vibe. I love the way these guys are playing ball right now.
MVPs from week one, guys, both sides of the ball. Mike?
Let's go ahead with Lathan Ransom coming off first game back, coming off the injury, man, going ahead, getting the scoop 6, man. Shout out to Lathan Ransom on the defensive side. Let's see. On the offensive side, don't want to go with the obvious, man. Shout out to Emeka, man. Calming the wide receivers down after a few drops, getting them together. Being a senior in that room and helping JJ, get to where he's at. That's what he came back for. Said that he wanted to be that veteran to help the young guys out in that room be able to accomplish their goals as well, and he did that. So shout out to Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, defensively, I gotta go with Jack Sawyer. He kept jumping off the screen. He looked like top 5 recruit in the nation, Jack Sawyer. And we it's been famously our 5 stars aren't playing like 5 stars. Well, yesterday they looked like 5 stars out there rushing the passer. So big credit to Jack Sawyer, and I gotta give it to Will Howard. I thought even early in the game, his throws were on target and wide receivers let him down a little bit. So then they got it together a little later, and then it turned the heat up. He did what Ron wanted him to do. He got Jeremiah Smith the ball. So I know you're happy with that one.
He's good in my book. That was my only concern. Can you find Jeremiah? And he settled that. No more concerns, bro. It's Lion season.
Yeah, so no, I thought Will Howard was fantastic. I like his leadership. I like the way you're in the offense. I love a scramble drill. I love a guy who can get out the pocket and make something happen. Like, that was just fantastic to see. And it has been a long time since we've seen that. I think Ron said it even like he had to go back to Justin Fields for real, because CJ Stroud only did it really in a couple games. So he's like, oh, yeah, I can run. So that was fantastic back then.
Oh, man. I put a poll up in the chat to see their thoughts on potentially doing a call-in show. So if you guys are interested in seeing a call-in show, let us know in the poll if we should do a regular show next week or do a call-in show. As far as my
MVP, that opportunity, because he might be one of the ones calling in.
Right. I'm gonna call in when I wake up. Peek behind the curtain. But as far as my MVPs, I mean, I guess I will go with I'm going to go with TreVeyon Henderson on offense. I love anytime TreVeyon quiets the doubters and goes out there and shows the running back that I've always believed him to be. I've always thought he was elite, except for when I said that Donovan Edwards was better than him. Boy, was I wrong. That dude stinks.
Yesterday you were very wrong.
I was very wrong on that. But Trey is a great back, and it was great to see him get out there and show that he was an elite back, because, I mean, a lot of people rolled their eyes when Kirk Herbstreit said that Quinshon Judkins was coming here to be a backup.
I mean, that was a bold.
Is that how you took it? Because I took it a different way. I thought he was saying that he was a backup at Ole Miss,
which would be even more egregious. He led the SEC.
Right.
He was the backup at Ole Miss, leading the SEC in rushing. They should have played
ESPN. When it come to ESPN and Ohio State, bro, they come up with the most egregious stuff to say, bro. It's ridiculous.
We got to be careful what we say about Kirk Herbstreit. We don't want to get aggregated.
Well, they already put me on the TL for what I said about Kirk. So,
gotta be safe around here. And then on defense, I'm gonna go with. That's a tough one, man. I'm gonna go. I know it's unoriginal, but you said Lathan. I'm gonna go with Lathan as well. To see him come back from injury like that and fly around and smack shit like that, that was great to see from Lathan. But that's all I have, fellas. Is there anything else from the game or takeaways that jumped out to you that you guys want to get to before we get out of here?
Yeah, I do want to say this. I was told that team up north was a developmental program. They got the best trenches. They got the best O-line coach who is not a head coach, man. That shit mud.
I agree. It was I DM'd Ant Wright last night and said, hey, bro, I miss you guys having to play backs because I loved popping in there when Michigan was struggling just to hear what they had to say.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I couldn't do that yesterday, I was like, man, I wish I could just hear the meltdown. I saw the post on Twitter. It was funny because during the Akron game, I was seeing all kinds of Michigan fans say, struggling with Akron. And then they were in a dogfight with Fresno State until the fourth quarter. So shout out to the scum up north, I guess. Q, what about you? How was Busty Blondes yesterday? Tell us about your day. What? That's not the name of the bar he was at?
Bottle Blonde, first of all. There might be some there, but that's not the name.
You was with a blonde bottle girl. Okay, continue. How was the rest of your day?
Oh, I actually did not watch the game there because I was 3 hours early. So I watched it in the bar, but my day was great, man.
I imagine Q on Saturday mornings like the Dumb and Dumber when he shows up at 10 a.m. to the bar. It's like, sure, buddy, you sure she didn't mean 10 p.m.?
Bro.
I thought she was a raging alcoholic.
Q wakes up with shower beers, man. I know over there on Minutes, some of them folks don't know about that. Shout out Chris. but Q definitely, look, man, me and Q were both in fraternities. I know Q definitely know about shower beers.
I'm not a beer drinker, but I may have been forced to take one or two. But yeah, man, no. At least I got to see. It was funny. In the morning, I had my boy, he was a Kentucky fan. I'm like, yo, Ohio State plays at 9. Like, get up. I made him come pick me up and go to the game. And I was like, oh, the time was off, but Clemson and Georgia's on. He's like, dickhead, I would not have got out of bed for this. So that was too funny. But it was fantastic. Good to see the games. Florida, Miami, got to watch that one a bit. So it was good to see.
How'd you watch that one? We were playing then.
I watched both. There's a bar with multiple TVs.
Tell them where they can find you.
You watching 2 games at the same time? Oh, yeah, shit, that's a record.
I had my Ohio State on the big screen, and then they had a little TV on the corner with Florida, Miami. Oh, I was in heaven. And it wasn't hot outside. You know, the weather here finally getting under 100. Oh, we good.
Q is like, I get to say I watched 2 games and I only have to watch them for 3 hours.
Fit them all into one.
Yeah, you watched Jeremiah
Smith.
Oh, you do have one star, the comment star, Ron. Did you want to hit that before we get out of here?
Yes, sir. Throw that on the screen. And that question is for the 2 of you. Pun intended.
Man, I'll say this. They probably are back. Cam Ward went out there and had the best debut by a quarterback in program history. Yeah, he had 1 interception, but the dude just led that team in the swamp where we heard it's one of the hardest places to play. Shout out to the U, man. They actually might be back, and plus they play in the ACC, so I could see them running it with Clemson looking like garbage and Florida State getting their stuff pushed back by Georgia Tech. So yeah, Miami might actually make it to the ACC championship. If you didn't book it, go ahead and book it now.
Yeah, hopefully Gmo's in the chat so I can give him flowers. No, they're not back. Florida sucks. Call me when they beat Georgia Tech. Let's go.
Heard that? They're not right. They're not back. How are we going to say they're back because they beat the Florida Swamp Puppies who aren't even going to be fucking bowl eligible, and we're ready to name them ACC champions? They don't even have the best fucking quarterback in the ACC.
They're gonna make it.
That's Cal McCord at Syracuse yesterday. Everybody talking about Cam Ward. How about Cal McCord at Syracuse? The best quarterback in the ACC. Miami's not even going to win their own conference, let alone a goddamn championship. Let's pump the brakes. The U is not back. Florida is just garbaggio. They need to start looking at coaches around college football because Florida is going to be an awesome job next year when they don't have that bullshit-ass schedule. I'm not here, bro. This is the Air King 2.0. I need to see it before I believe it, bro. I've been there, done that with this team.
You did that last year.
You will never be back until they start showing respect to their best quarterback in the last 2 decades, Brad Kaya. They won't even let bro on the sidelines. I seen him doing a documentary. Said he's been to more Texas A&M and USC games than the U because they won't even let bro on the sidelines. If you're a recruit out there listening to this and you're thinking about going to Miami, you better make it to the NFL or the Hall of Fame, or they're going to tell your ass to get the fuck off the sidelines, even if you're the leading passer in the last decade. So keep that in mind while you're considering the Miami. The U is not back. Ohio State's winning the Natty. Jim Tressel broke that program over his knee. Duke dug up their grave, broke that shit over their knee again, and then Georgia Tech pissed on it. Miami is not back. They need to do something in the ACC before they come talk to Buckeye fans. Go to Category Sports if you want to hear about Miami. Not here.
Propaganda go over there.
Yeah, go to Category 6 Sports. Shout out to our guy Chima.
Yeah, we'll be putting that on the timeline by the night.
Tomorrow, I've done so much content the past 2 days. I'm about to go play 16 hours of College Ultimate Team. Get us out of here so I can get on the game.
Mike, where can they find you at?
Man, you can find me on the Bird app, X app at 216_Wildboy. You can also catch me on this platform right here. If you're watching on YouTube, on Twitter, go over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We here every Sunday, and then I'm here Wednesdays for college football, where we talk all college football nationally as well. And then tap in the Discord. That's where we breaking down some film for you ball knowers out there that think that they know ball.
Speaking of the Discord OG Mook, sim the league. I'm going to sim the league as soon as I wrap this show. I'm turning on the game. I'm like 4 days behind on our Xbox Dynasty, but we're getting that shit going. So if you have user matchups, you have all day and tomorrow. It's a holiday. Shout out to everyone that is in our College Football 25 Dynasty in our Discord.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, the chat brought the energy today. It's glad to see college football is back. It's like 700 people in here. So, all waking up in this early morning. Happy to see it. Shout out to the Box Score boys. If you want to find me, I'm at City Boy Quentin on Twitter. Find Johnson above IG and TikTok. And if you're into movies, minor league films here on YouTube, Ron, get us out of here.
If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at 2Ts. That's 2_TES. You can find me here Sundays for the flagship Buckeye BS every Sunday at 10 a.m. Weekdays here for the Buckeye Roast with Q at 8 a.m. And then Saturdays with Chris Drew on the Medicine Sports platform for the Best Damn College Football pregame show. And then post games on Bleacher Report, and then a little appearance on Juck on Bucks postgame as well on the Medicine Sports platform. So we are absolutely everywhere 7 days a week during college football season. Make sure that you tap in with us. We appreciate everybody for tuning in to today's episode of Buckeye BS. And you know how this ends. Go Bucks and OH.
Ayo.